ॐ दक्षिणस्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्ण पाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरं व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्. So we are now in that part of Aparokshanubhuti where Bhagwan Shankaracharya is talking about the very nature of the universe, the nature of Jagat, the nature of what we are finding around us. What Vedanta says is that when you say Atma and Anatma, they are not two different things. There is only Atma, the consciousness, the existence, but that which manifests in the form of multiple names and forms. Multiple names and forms. It is the same with Ishvara also. It is the same Nirguna Brahman, Nirakara Brahman, Nirvikara Brahman, but can manifest in various names and forms only to help us initially to have an alambanam for our upasana, to have an alambanam for our, further continuing our spiritual quest, further continuing on the path of moksha purushartha. And it is not easy for us who have always thought that the name and form is the reality. What I find outside in this world of names and forms is real when I've thought and lived that life for lives together. It is very difficult for me to hold on to a nirvikara, nirakara Brahman, and temporarily, till I understand this properly, I need an alambanam, for which I take the help of various devatas, devis, my Ishta Devata I take. It is only a small window through which I actually connect to the total. I connect to that Brahman. So here, what Bhagwan Shankaracharya wants to say is, all the names and forms really are experiential realities. That which is the very content of all these names and forms, that because of which all the names and forms manifest, exist, and then sometime or the other disappear or resolve. That is the very content of the entire universe called as Atman or Atma or Brahman. And that is the only reality. Ekameva Advitiya Atma. Then what is the Jagat? The Jagat with all the names and forms is a mere experiential reality. It does not mean that it is not there. It is there, but it is of a lower order of reality. Therefore, this Jagat of names and forms, including this body mind sense complex, we call as Mithya. So, Aham Satyam. What is that Aham? Brahma Satyam. Jagan Mithya. Jagat is Mithya. The way we respond to the Jagat, the way we interact with the Jagat, with what do we interact? With the name and form. With what do we contact our senses with? It is nothing but names and forms. This whole Jagat is the matter principle with its name, form, and utility. And unfortunately, we think that the name, form, and utility of the entire Jagat, which involves our transaction, which involves our Vyavahara, is the ultimate reality. That is the reason for our sorrow. The Jagat is there, it has its place. It is an experiential reality. It is a transactional reality. Without the names and forms and utility, we cannot transact with the world. But we have to understand that it has only that much value, nothing more than that. That is not the absolute truth. The absolute truth is nothing but I, this consciousness. This Sakshi Chaitanya Atma is the only reality. And that is the reality which is in me, in all the other jivas, in the Jagat also. Therefore, what is the reality of Jagat? What is the ultimate truth of me, I, this individual? What is the ultimate truth of all the other jivas? What is the ultimate truth of this Ishvara or God or totality? The ultimate truth of Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara is nothing but this Brahman or Atma. Then what is it that I see here as the name and form, body, mind, sense complex? What is it that I see in this entire world with which I'm transacting as name and form? It's nothing but mithya, an existence which is there for the sake of experience. But if you look into it, if you try to find out more into it, go into its roots, then these names and forms really have no existence of their own. And that is what is being told in all these verses. And in the 49th verse, we saw that it is in this Brahman, in this Atma, that the whole name and form universe manifests. Therefore, in the Taittiriya Upanishad also, in a chapter called as Bhriguvalli, the teacher says, Yatova imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayanti abhisamvishanti, tat vijignyasasva tad brahma iti. So the Guru says, look, try to find out what is that ultimate truth from which, in which all the names and forms of the Jivas and Jagat manifest, exist, and ultimately disappear. Find out what that reality is. And that reality is called as Brahman or Atma, that which is there everywhere. We saw the Swarupa Lakshanam of that Brahman up till the first about 38, 37 to 38 verses. So we saw in the 49th verse in the last session, Brahmanaha sarva bhutani jayante paramatmanaha. Brahmanaha paramatmanaha. That Brahman which we also called as Paramatma, that which is also called as Atma, Sarva Bhutani Jayante. All the bhutas, all the living beings, all the beings are born. You can say, you can ask me, Bhutani, Sarva Bhutani means, could it be Panchabhutas? Yes, from Panchabhutas only we have all come. As Panchabhautika Shariras we have come. So Sarva Bhutani, Sarvani Bhutani, Imani Bhutani, all these living beings are as though born in this Brahman, from this Brahman. Tasmad yetani brahmaiva. We all, the whole Jiva Jagat Ishvara, can be considered as a karyam of this Brahman. And Brahman, the Karanam, is that which is there in all its manifestations. Manifestations may be many, but that which manifests itself into many is one and only. Like water. Water manifests as a river, as a pond, as a stagnant water, as in an ocean. The same water manifests in the form of waves in the ocean, as foam in the ocean, bubbles in the ocean. But ultimately, what is it that is manifesting with various names and forms? It is nothing but, sorry, water itself. It is one water which is manifesting as everything else. So, an ocean is nothing but water. A wave is nothing but water. A river is nothing but water. A tank is nothing but water. Therefore, he says, Tasmad yetani bhutani, all these living beings, Brahmaiva, Brahmaiva bhavanti. They are nothing but this Brahman. Iti avadharayet. Iti avadharayet. So when you see, when you understand, everything around you and you yourself are nothing but that ekameva advitiyam Brahma. There is no really second thing. The second thing is a mere delusion or an illusion. The second thing or the multiplicity is merely a vyavaharika satyam. When I see that, when I understand that, there's no question of samsara. Where is the question of samsara? That is why a jnani who sees everything as one atma, he sees himself as the sarvatma. I am that consciousness which is everywhere. Then where is the question of any competition for me? Where is the question of anybody else causing any pain to me? Where is the question of sorrow? Okay. Tasya kaha moha kaha shokaha. Where is the moha? Where is the shoka? That's what the Upanishads ask us. We have seen that. In Kathopanishad, we have seen that. The one who understands this Ekameva Advitiya Satyam, where is moha for such a person? Where is the shoka for such a person? So this is what is going to be chanted now. In the next verse, it is going to be here the same concept which I just now talked about is going to be brought in. So let's go to the 50th verse. Brahmaiva sarvanamani rupani vividhani cha कर्माण्यपि समग्राणि बिभर्तीति श्रुतिर्जगौ. So the Shruti says, Shrutihi Jagau means what? The Shruti or Vedas or the Upanishads say. What do they say? He says here, Brahmaiva Sarvanamani. All the names are nothing but Brahman. When we say, this is an earring, this is a chain, this is a bangle, this is a ring, so many ornaments of gold we can give different names, isn't it? But a bangle is gold, a chain is gold. Every ornament that is there, which we can think of, there may be hundreds of ornaments. These days, at least, you will find so many types of ornaments. All those hundreds of names and forms of ornaments is nothing but that one gold. One gold manifests as Sarvanamani, Rupani, Vividhani, Vivida Rupani, Vivida Namani. Isn't it? In one bangle itself, how many hundreds of patterns, how many designs. So, Vividhani Namani Rupani. Sarvanamani Rupani Vividhani cha Brahmaiva. Like we can say, all the ornaments are gold eva. They're nothing but gold eva, all the golden ornaments. All the materials made up of clay are nothing but clay eva, mrid eva, like that. Brahmaiva sarvanamani sarvarupani vividhani cha. Different names and forms that we see is nothing but the manifestation of this one and the only Brahman. Karmani api samagrani. That means what? Karmani. Karmani means all the activities, all the actions. They may be Laukika actions, they may be Vaidika actions, they may be so many actions. There are only three types of actions if we really look at it: Kaika karmas, Vachika karmas, Manasa karmas. But how many varieties of Kaika karmas are there? Varieties of Vachika Manasa karmas are there. All these are nothing but that Brahman itself. Nothing but that Brahman. That is why in an Upanishad called as the Kenopanishad, it says Shrotrasya Shrotram. It is the ear of the ear, the eye of the eye. The activity of the eye is nothing but that blessed by this Atma or Brahman. The activity of all the sense organs, the activities of the mind and the buddhi, everything is nothing but that which is blessed by this Atma. Therefore, this Atman is the mind of the mind, the eye of the eye, the ear of the ear. So here is Sarva Karmani api, Samagrani Karmani. All the actions and activities are nothing but what? They are nothing but those blessed by this Atma. So Karmani Samagrani, okay, Karmani api Sahasrani Bibharti iti Shrutir Jagau. Says that Brahman alone supports, sustains all the names, forms, and their actions, activities, and functions. Like gold alone sustains and supports the names and the forms and the utility or the action of all the gold ornaments. Similarly, all the jivas, all the sense organs of all the jivas, all the activities of all the jivas, various names and forms of billions of jivas are nothing but sustained and supported by this Ekameva Advitiya Atma or Brahman. Next he says, Suvarna Suvarnatvam cha Shashvatam Brahmano Jayamanasya Brahmatvam cha Tatha Bhavet. Whatever I explained all this time, the same thing is put in a verse form here. What he says is, Suvarnat Jayamanasya, that which is born out of gold, or that which appears as a product of gold. What happens to that product, an ornament which is born out of gold? Suvarnatvam cha shashvatam. Isn't it? It is shashvatam, suvarnatvam. The goldness of the gold ornament is shashvatam. Today it may be a bangle. Tomorrow I may give it to be changed to something else. That may be changed to something else. Okay. My grandmother's some ornament which has come to me as an heirloom, I don't like, because it is not the contemporary thing, it's very old. So I want to change it to some other form. But the goldness of that thing which was there is the same goldness which continues in whatever is to come, the next form which is to come, isn't it? So he says, Suvarnat Jayamanasya, that which arises, that which appears, Jayamana means that which is born out of or which is made from a particular upadana karanam called gold. Suvarnatvam cha shashvatam. Name and form is not shashvatam. Utility is not shashvatam, but the goldness of the gold ornament is shashvatam. Brahmano jayamanasya, that which appears as a manifestation of Brahman, that for which Brahman is the upadanam or the cause, material cause, Brahmatvam cha shashvatam. This body will disappear, this mind will disappear, but the Atmatvam or the Brahmatvam will not disappear. This Jiva may come in another body after some time. What remains? Brahmatvam or Atmatvam remains. So just like Suvaranatvam is Shashvatam in the products of gold, the product of Brahman, this entire universe with all its names and forms, all the jivas, including Ishvara's name and form. What is Shashvatam? Brahmatvam is Shashvatam. So Brahmano Jayamanasya Brahmatvam cha tatha bhavet. Brahmatva means that is the ness. Goldness is Shashvatam of any gold ornament. So Brahmatvam is that Brahmanness is that which always remains. I may be in any form. I may be in the Jagrida Avastha, I may be in the Swapna Avastha, I may be in the Sushupti Avastha, I may be in the Balya Avastha, Kumara Avastha, Yuva Avastha, Vriddhavastha, Jaravastha, Rogavastha. But then what is it that is there all the time? My Atmatvam, that is the I, the Atma, is the constant one in that. Only the name and form and utility changes, nothing else. Okay. Then in the next verse, Bhagavan Shankaracharya wants to say that a person who has understood this Brahmatvam or Atmatvam of the entire universe does not really see a real second thing anywhere. And when this person does not see a second thing, see, be careful here to understand. Second, I definitely see the body mind sense complex of millions of other people. Does not see this, the second thing does not mean that I'm not aware of the variety of things there. What this means is, when I understand that behind all the variety, behind all the names and forms, there's only one thing, me, that is Brahman or Atma. There's no question of getting afraid of anything else. Oh, that person is going to, compete with me. This person is going to destroy me. This particular thing is going to, kind of, take revenge on me. The fear of the world. That is our samsara, isn't it? The fear of the world, the fear of other people doing something to us, we being the victims of somebody else's actions. That is our fear, isn't it? So here he says that when I do not see anything other than this Atman, which is myself, when I see myself everywhere and anywhere, where is the question of samsara? Where is the question of the fear of being destroyed by somebody else? Where's the question of being destroyed by something else? This body may be destroyed by something, but I'm not the body. The destruction of the body is not my destruction. The destruction of the Jagat, when it goes to its again unmanifest form in Pralaya, is not the destruction of Brahman. The Brahmatvam persists in all, before the creation of the universe, before the appearance of the universe, during its existence, and later also. Okay, that's why Lord Krishna said in the second chapter, Avyaktadini bhutani madhyavyaktani bharata. Okay, then avyakta nidhana deva tasya ka paridevana. The whole world of names and forms, including all of us. We were not there before. We were all avyakta. We came into a manifest form, vyakta form. Sometime or other, all of us, including this whole earth universe, is going to go into its unmanifest form. Then where is the question of having any kind of a sorrow about appearing and disappearing things? Where's the question of fear of getting lost or getting destroyed? That's what he says in the 52nd verse. Then, Swalpamapyantaram kritva jivatma paramatmanoho yovatishtati moodhatma bhayam tasyabhibhashitam. Okay, accepted that we are afraid of the world. All of us are. When something will happen, when a tsunami will come, when this one will come, when earthquake will come, and when we are not going to be there, everybody has the fear of all kinds of natural calamities, fear of roga, fear of jara, fear of death. Yes, all of us have this, no doubt about it. But we also have the fear of God, isn't it? That's why, we even have in our colloquial, bhasha, we say, oh, I put the fear of God in him. He's a God fearing person. Why should we be afraid of God? What is the need to be afraid of Ishvara? Because I see myself as different from Ishvara. Where I see myself different from the world, I'm afraid that I may be the victim of the world. When I see myself different from Ishvara, I am a Jiva and Ishvara is different from me. I'm afraid of that Ishvara. I'm afraid that that Ishvara may hurt me. The fear is there. That's why I say God fearing. There's no need to fear God because God or Ishvara is nothing but the same Atma. The content of Ishvara is same as me, my content, whatever is the consciousness, that is my content. Aham Atma, that Atma is nothing but the Atma of Ishvara also. Just like this body is a name and form, Ishvara's form, the total, the samashti also is a name and form. This is a Vyashti name and form. That is a Samashti name and form. This is a Vyashti Upadhi. That is a Samashti Upadhi. Of course, Samashti Upadhi is much more powerful than this Vyashti Upadhi. Vyashti Upadhi is limitless, Vyashti Upadhi is limited, whereas Samashti Upadhi is limitless. Vyashti Upadhi has limited power, limited capacity. Samashti Upadhi has got so much of bala, viryam, resources, everything. So there's nothing wrong in praying, asking for help from an upadhi which is superior to me. So when I pray to Lord for help, what am I praying to? This upadhi, this small helpless upadhi, is praying to a powerful upadhi for help. That is what is my prayer. But ultimately, I should understand that that Chaitanyam behind that Samashti Upadhi and the Chaitanyam behind this Vyashti Upadhi is one and the same. And when this knowledge is there, this understanding is there, where is the question of fear of God? Where is the question of fear from other jivas? Where is the question of fear from Jagat? When the very content of Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara is one and only Brahman, and Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara are mere superficial differences, what is it that I'm afraid of? From whom am I expecting any kind of a fear? That is what is being said here. He says, Swalpamapi antaram kritva jivatma paramatmanoho. Even if a little difference is made, Uttaram antaram kurute atha tasya bhayam bhavati, it says, the Upanishad say. Uttataram means even a wee bit of difference you see. As I am different from you, then I am always afraid of you. But when I see myself as that difference between me and you is a very superficial upadhi difference, really speaking, I am not different from you. When you see that, then there is no question of fear. At the same time, you'll do what is necessary to protect yourself. Just like it's in somebody said that a mad elephant, an elephant in rut was coming, and this Advaitin, a very enthusiastic mumukshu said, what is the difference between me and you? We are both the same Atma. Only you are a more powerful Upadhi, I am a less powerful Upadhi, and he started walking towards it. Now, this is foolishness. It does not mean that when you understand that we are one, it does not mean that you are going to keep aside the natural differences of the Upadhi. Like we pray to God because God or Ishvara is a more powerful, higher Upadhi, nothing wrong. Let us pray. When we are helpless, we have to pray. And who else can help us, in praying? It is Ishvara because of that total Upadhi. There are Upadhis which are more powerful than us. We have to protect ourselves. See, we have to be practical here. What is meant is what is the understanding we have. That's it. It doesn't mean that, okay, if there is something, and if I'm traveling in a forest, and then I'm told that, you can anytime come across a tiger or an elephant, I will take necessary precautions because I have to take precautions. That is intelligent living. That is the way I live intelligently. But at the same time, understanding that, yes, one upadhi can influence another upadhi, but actually speaking, ultimately, that behind that elephant upadhi, that chaitanyam behind this, powerless upadhi is one and the same. But I need not go out of the way foolishly and expose myself to that danger. No, that is not what Vedanta says. It doesn't say udara mantaram kurute tasya bhayam bhavati. Doesn't mean that fearlessly you do whatever you want. No. In this world of names and forms and taratamyas and the upadhis, we have to live intelligently. We have to protect ourselves. We cannot say, but the basic understanding is what? That nothing can really disturb me. It is only the superficial upadhi that can disturb me. And what can disturb the upadhi? It is the other upadhi disturbing the this upadhi. It doesn't matter. So this is the understanding where that psychologically that kind of a fear which is always keeping me away, always doubting somebody, always having a suspicion about somebody destroying me, that won't be there. That means psychologically I'm free from the fear of being overpowered by somebody else. That is what is meant here. So he says, Swalpamapi antaram kritva jivatma paramatmanoho. Even if I make a slight difference between me and Paramatma, Jivatma and Paramatma, Yo avatishtati Mudhatma. Yo avatishtati, the one who keeps making a difference, Muda. Bhayam tasya abhibhashitam. Always scared. That's why we're scared of Ishvara also, isn't it? God is not something to be scared of or being, fearing. It's not that. Yes, it's an upadhi which is of great protective value to us. Yes, we pray to Hanuman, we pray to Surya, we pray to. It is a protective upadhi. We are asking for the protection for this upadhi. But then, knowing fully well that behind that upadhi and behind this upadhi, it is one and the same. Yaschayam purushe yo asau aditye sa ekaha. That Chaitanyam behind that Aditya. And that Chaitanyam here in the Supadhi, Sa Ekaha. So when that is understood, then I am a Jnani, I am not a Mudhatma. So here he says, Yo Antaram, that is what Jivatma Paramatma Noho Swalpamapi Antaram Kritva Tishtati Mudhatma. That is an ignorant person. Bhayam Tasya Abhibhashitam. Bhayam means what? When he's deluded that the difference exists, he's always afflicted by fear. Always afflicted by fear. A person who's fearless, willing to do whatever one has to do. Yes, this is my duty, this is my role that I have come to play. I will do it fearlessly. Yes, I may have problems with other upadhis, it doesn't matter. But really speaking, there is no difference between me and the other. It is one Chaitanya Atma. Upadhi Bhedataya, according to the prarabdha of this upadhi, that upadhi, certain interactions may go on with each other. That does not matter. So he says here that when you see the difference, when you don't see the oneness between Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara, there is always a psychological sense of insecurity and fear. That's all Bhagwan Shankaracharya says, based exactly on the Upanishadic teaching. We'll go to the next verse now. In the next verse, he says, so what does he say? यत्राज्ञानाद्भवेद्वैतम् इतरस्तत्र पश्यति आत्मत्वेन यदा सर्वं नेतरस्तत्र चान्वपि. So he says here that yatra ajnanad, because of the ajnanam, yatra ajnanad bhaved dvaitam. All this dvaitam I see, the dvaitam I see may be, a experiential reality. But what I see as dvaitam is not the absolute reality. That's all that is being said in the Upanishads. Don't think that, my God, Upanishads say that the world doesn't exist. The Upanishads say that nothing exists. I'm solidly experiencing this world. When something happens to this body, I'm solidly experiencing the hurt. I'm solidly experiencing the pain. When somebody hits me, I'm solidly experiencing this. How can you say that there is no Jagat at all? How can you say that? No, Jagat is there, other jivas are there, but they are in reality, in absolute sense, they are not there. And you have given so many examples. There is a reflection, but really speaking, it is not there. It is only an experiential reality. A shadow is constantly following me, but it cannot afflict me because a shadow is of a lower order of reality. When I'm walking, if there is a shadow, I don't count two, I count only myself, and I say this shadow is false. When I see myself in the mirror, when I see the reflection, I don't say that we are two people. I say, I am here, that is false, a reflection. When I see a dream and when I wake up from the dream, I don't say that there are two things here. My dream world is also real, this which I'm seeing is also real. I don't say that. I say, though, that dream world was real at that time, but I mean, say that, why it was so real, it was so realistic. I really thought I was falling down. So at that time it was real, but now it is of a lower order of reality. Similarly, all our experiences in this Jagat, how many experiences we can talk about? Plenty. In the last 2 or 3 sessions ago, I have given so many, like sunrise, sunset, flat earth, stationary earth, blue sky. So many of our experiences are real, but really, if you try to analyze them, there is no truth in them. They are mere experiential realities. Still, we take a sunrise time, a sunset time, and fix the muhurtas and do everything. All our transactions are done on sunrise and sunset. But we all know, really speaking, paramarthikataya, absolute truth, sun neither rises nor sets. But experientially, we see a sunrise, we see a sunset, and use it for our transactions. Similarly, Vedanta says this whole world of upadhis is like that. There's one thing, Atma alone. All the other things are only for transactional purposes and nothing else. Nothing but transactional purposes. Therefore, here he says, Yatra ajnanat bhaved dvaitam. Because of our ajnana now, we take this dvaitam to be real. We don't understand yet that this Dvaitam is only an appearance. This multiplicity is only an appearance. In reality, there is only one. Like if there are 10 mirrors and I stand in front of them, there are 10 reflections, 10 manifestations, but there are no 11 things. There is only one reality with all the other 10, which is nothing but just a manifestation. Similarly, there is only one reality which manifests with myriads of names and forms. They are utility, they are of utility value. Yes, they are of transactional value. They are the ones which are going to help us to fulfill our prarabdha and get rid of our prarabdha karma, no doubt. All transaction is possible only in mithya jagat. No transaction is possible in Atma. No working out of prarabdha is possible in Atma. All the transaction and working out of relationships, everything is only possible in Anatma, though it is mithya. So he says, Yatra ajnanat bhaved dvaitam. When we take the duality or the other as real, itaraha tatra pashyati. When I take the duality to be real, I see myself as separate from the other. I am one versus all the other jivas. I am one versus the entire universe. I am one against Ishvara also. Against means I have to, protect myself. I am at the risk of everything else, being hurt by everything else. So yatra ajnanat bhave dvaitam, when because of ajnanam the dvaitam is perceived as a reality, okay, tatra, there, itaraha pashyati, he sees something else as different. I see you as different from me. I see everything else as different from me. But atmavat atmatvena yada sarvam, when I understand that everything is Atman, everything is this consciousness. All that I see as multiple is only a manifestation. When I see that, Anu api, there is not an iota of difference. Na itaraha tatra cha anu api. There's not an iota of difference. There's nothing other than me, the Atma. Where is the question of Dvaitam? Dvaitam iva bhasate. This entire universe, Dvaitam iva bhasate. Iva, as though it is multiple, as though it is millions, myriads. But in reality, it is only one. It is like the one water which manifests as the ocean, as hundreds of waves coming and going, everything. It is nothing but ekameva advitiya apaha. That is what is manifesting in millions of forms. Similarly, I, this Atma, Atmatvena yada sarvam pashyati. When I see everything as Atma, then all the differences become superficial. All the differences become embellishments for me. Wow, what a wonderful creation of Ishvara. What a wonderful name and form. They become a subject of awe and wonder for me. And I'm able to transact with everything around me, with nothing but awe and wonder, and do a good job out of it. It is said that it seems a saint was blamed for something. I mean, he was like what normally happens, blamed and taken to the court. And this saint, a jnani, he was a jnani. Some prarabdha probably he was working out where he had to go through, his body mind sense complex had to go through this kind of a problem or this kind of a pain or whatever it is. But it seems when he was standing in that box or whatever it is, it seems he saw himself as Krishna. He saw the prosecutor as Krishna. He saw his own lawyer as Krishna. He saw the judge as Krishna. His Ishtadevata was Krishna. He saw everyone there as Krishna. And suddenly it seems all his anxiety and all his fear just disappeared. He said, there's only one thing, there's Krishna everywhere. What is it that I have to be afraid of? Whatever comes, whatever happens here is a transactional reality. But actually, in reality, there is only one thing, that is myself. He saw that. He saw himself. He saw Krishna there. I mean, that's a story to say that once you see that one thread, the common thread, Sutre Manigada Iva, everywhere, then there's no question of any fear from the others. At the same time, we will do what it takes. We will do what it takes to protect ourselves. We'll follow the rules. We'll follow all the laws and keep ourselves in the, because otherwise it will become a society where nobody will follow rules. It should not happen. A jnani is the one who follows every rule. All the rules belong to a jnani also, but deep inside, in his understanding, he knows that there is no difference. Everything is one and the same. So there are two verses remaining in this particular aspect. Let's see the 54th verse now, where he says that, okay, the same thing is repeated again. Similar concepts are repeated to show us that the difference we see, the Dvaitam that we see, is only experiential. What is there is only one Atma. Anatma is an appearance. Atma is the only thing. Therefore, there is only one Advaita Atma. That is the message of this particular from the 40th verse onwards. Now let's see. Yasmin sarvani bhutani ह्यात्मत्वेन विजानतः न वै तस्य भवेन्मोहः न च शोको द्वितीयतः. So we have that tasya kah mohakah shokah ekatvam anupashyatah. It is said that in Ishavasya Upanishad it says yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhut vichanatah tatra ko moha ko shokah ekatvam anupashyatah. The same exactly verbatim, literally the same thing is given in the 54th verse. Yasmin sarvani bhutani hi atmatvena vijanatah. When a jnani understands sarvani bhutani, a jivan mukta, a jnani, as a jivan mukta, sarvani bhutani hi atmatvena vijanatah. I am them, they are me, atmatvena vijanatah. His body mind sense complex upadhi is different, my body mind sense complex upadhi is different. But yasmin sarvani bhutani hi atmatvena vijanatah, sees himself in everything, or he sees Ishvara in everything else. Navaitasya bhavet mohaha. For such a person, there is no delusion. What is the delusion? Fear from the other. That somebody may compete with me, somebody may destroy me, somebody may climb over my shoulders, somebody may put me down, somebody may insult me. That delusion itself is gone. The fear is the result of the delusion of I am different from you. So he says, Navai tasya bhavet moha. Actually, moha has gone away. All the moha or that delusion which differentiated him from others, that is gone away. And he says, Dvaitam iva asti. Dvaitam is eva. What is there is Atma eva. There's nothing other than Atma. Dvaitam is Dvaitam iva. Eva means what? As though it's an experience. Navaitasya bhavet moha nacha shokaha. Tasya ko mohaka shokaha. Of the Ishavasya verse, same thing. Na bhavet tasya mohaha na cha shokaha dvitiyataha. Okay. Dvitiya adviti. So nacha shoko advitiyataha. Advitiyataha means what? There is no second thing. So nacha bhaven moho, nacha shokaha advitiyataha. Because of that oneness, no second thingness, understanding that there's no question of shoka or moha. That means our samsara is purely psychological. Can you understand after seeing this? Really speaking, there is no samsara. There is no shoka. Moha is the one, delusion is the one which is causing me samsara. So, what is my samsara? What is my unhappiness? What is my apurnatvam? What is my sorrow? It's purely psychological. Purely psychological. Therefore, it is said that a small child, before it develops its ahankara, there is no samsara for that child. There is no shoka, there is no moha. When there is a physical pain, it cries for attention. But that does not cause sorrow to that child. There is jvara, but there is no anujvara. There is no psychological injury to that when something happens there. Of course, there are people who say that over a period, that is once a child develops his or her own individuality, then of course all the experiences are stored in one's, subconscious. That is different. But basically, what we are saying is when the delusion of separateness is gone, when the delusion of manyness is gone, then there is no psychological affliction, which is the real samsara. Pain to the body may be there, afflictions of the body may be there, but the psychological pain or dukkha is not there. So tasya bhavet na mohaha na cha shokaha advitiyataha. Because of the advitiyatvam which is understood, because of the ekatvam of Atma everywhere, because of the advitiyatvam of Atma, myself, everywhere. There is no question of any psychological pain here. Physical pain may be there, but the psychological pain is not there. What is samsara? It is psychological pain, insecurity, fear, okay, ahankara, this should have happened to me, this should not have happened to me, guilt, shame, anxiety, fear, these are all what? These are all psychological pains. Samsara is nothing but psychological pain. That's why when we are fast asleep there is no pain, because the mind is completely in a seed form, isn't it? No pain is felt of any type. Similarly, when I don't see the difference, when I see oneness everywhere, there's no question of psychological pain. And now, here in the next verse, he says, Ayamatma hi brahmaiva sarvatmakataya sthitaha iti nirdharitam shrutya brihadaranya samsthatya. So, we have this Ayam Atma Brahma is a statement made in all the Upanishads. In Mandukya Upanishad also, in the very first verse, there is this statement, Ayam Atma Brahma. This consciousness, I, is nothing but this Brahman. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that. So here it says, Ayam Atma hi Brahmaiva. There are no two things again here, Atma and Brahman. Ayam Atma hi Brahmaiva. This Atma is nothing other than Brahman. Sarvatmakataya sthitaha. I, the Atma Brahman, is manifest as Sarvatma. That consciousness in everything, in every Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. Iti nirdharitam shrutya. This is the message of the Shruti. Shruti means what? The Upanishads or Vedanta, Veda. Iti nirdharitam shrutya brihadaranya samsthaya. He gave only the example of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad here. There is a verse which talks about it. Similarly, Mandukya Upanishad says, Ayam Atma Brahma. This is a Mahavakyam. Mahavakyam. What is a Mahavakyam? Jiva Ishvara Abheda. Jiva Jagat Abheda. Jiva Brahma Abheda. Ayamatma Brahma. Whatever is there, whatever this there is this consciousness Brahman, which is I myself. What I call as Atma is nothing but this Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. This is the Mahavakya Vichara, which comes in hundreds, thousands of Vakyas in all the Upanishads. I think we can stop with this because, a little bit of a change in the context will take place from the next few verses. So we'll take the next verse from next time. ॐ नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्थाशाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ तत्सत्